Hiraku wakes up earlier after dreaming of his death in his world. He goes out and greets everyone, noting that he didn't expect to ever live such a dream life. As a soul, Hiraku faces the god that watches over the world. The god notes that he lived 39 years, but he had a cruel fate. He was betrayed by others and then fell ill with a terminal disease. The god decides to give him a second chance with a body that won't fall ill. The god finds it's his mistake for his awful life and wants to apologize and asks him if he has any wish he can also grant him. Thinking for a bit, Hiraku states he wants to try farming. He watched a show about it while he was sick, and he wishes to try it. Additionally, he isn't good at getting along with others and wants to go farming somewhere where there aren't many people. The god states farming isn't his jurisdiction, but makes a call and arranges the things. He gets permission from the agriculture god to bestow upon Hiraku the power of the almighty farming tool. Hiraku wakes up in a forest and is happy to be healthy and be able to move again. He decides to start his farming life there and wonders how to use the almighty farming tool. The tool magically appears in his hand, and Hiraku starts digging, noting that he isn't getting tired at all. He likes how soft the soil is and notes he can grow good vegetables there. Hiraku then realizes he first needs to worry about food and water and goes looking around. He sees a big tree and decides to make it a landmark and use it as a camp. He goes around looking for a river, but is unable to find any source of water. Hiraku then decides to dig and find underground water. He summons his tool, which turns into a shovel, and soon after he started digging, he ends up finding water. While preparing the ground around the tree, Hiraku looks for food, but is unable to find anything. Hiraku then looks at a smaller tree and decides to chop it down now. He summons his tool as an axe and almost gets crushed by the tree as he ends up cutting it with a single swing. He turns his tool into a hatchet and then cuts the tree into pieces. Before he realizes, it's getting dark already, and he turns his tool into a magnifying glass, but the sun sets. Having no way to start a fire, he carves a hole into the large tree and hides inside. Hiraku cuts some plates and cups. He realizes the moon provide enough light for him to see, but then sees that there are 2 moons and guesses he must be in another world. In the morning, Hiraku continues to clear the ground around the large tree and cuts some more trees. He feels it's time to get something to eat, and in that moment, a large monster rabbit attacks him, and Hiraku manages to kill it in a single swing with his tool. After eating it, he decides to make a toilet and digs a large hole with an entrance, gas release hole, and a tree trunk as a seat. As he couldn't relax, he ends up creating a small cabin around the toilet seat. Hiraku then proceeds cultivating the land and imagines what he could cultivate. As he is done, he realizes he doesn't have any seeds to plant anything. Next morning, he is surprised to see that some plants are already starting to grow and wonders if it's due to the tool. He decides to build a wall and a ditch around the fields to protect them from the rabbits and other beasts. It takes him a few days to complete it, but he manages to kill another rabbit. The plants grow faster, and Hiraku is hoping that they are something he can eat and don't turn up being decorative flowers. Hiraku then builds a hut, but as he has a hard time lifting the wood up, he digs inside of it to give himself more vertical space. One day, he sees 2 dogs outside. As they look a bit rough and not aggressive, he invites them in and gives them some meat from a boar he just killed and wondered what to do with all that meat. He notices that one of them is pregnant, and after they ate, she started having birth pain. Hiraku realizes she is giving birth and wonders what to do. He ends up letting them stay in his house while he goes back in the tree hole for the night. In the morning, he checks on the dogs and sees that the female gave birth to 4 dogs. He gives them some more meat to celebrate it. Hiraku believed the dogs would leave after that, but they decided to hang around. As they liked the hut, Hiraku decides to build himself a new house. Hiraku ends up growing some tomatoes and enjoys them. The dogs do some hunting and protect the premises for Hiraku. He decides to name them Kuro and Yuki, male and female. The small ones he named Kuroichi, Kuroni, Kurosan, Kuroyon. Hiraku wants to build a storehouse, more vegetables, and many other things. Elsewhere, a girl wants to cross the mountain, but a man tells her it's dangerous, and if she heard of the forest of death. The other side of the mountain is known like that, and it's because it's full of monsters.